Okay, class. Now this question, we had question number 3, and it has 3 sections: A, B, C. Now I know that we had a little bit of difficulty here, but first, let's look at the questions, okay? Individually. Let's look at the statement. Jerry Rice is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, pro football wide receivers of all time. During 4 games, he had the following statistics. Now, right here, what that means is during these 4 games, this is what he did during those 4 games. In one game, he had 4 catches for 122 yards. In another game, he had 7 catches for 87 yards. In another one, he had 8 for 240, and then 8 for 200. So it says, answer the following questions about Jerry Rice. Let's look right here. Okay. So it says, are the number of yards he earns proportional to the number of catches he had? Well, the only way to check for proportion is to see if each one of them has the same ratio. Now, to check for that, I have to get the unit rate. How many yards did he get here? Here, let's say this instead. How many yards for this one, for the first game, did he get for 1 catch? Here, he had 4 for 122. So what I want to say is 122.5 for 4 catches. I need to get the unit rate. Divide by 4. Divide this by 4. You'll get the unit rate. Same thing right here for this one. Sorry, right here. He has 1 catch. How many yards was that 1 catch? Well, first we have to find out what did he average, or what is the ratio. He had 87 yards for 8 catches. Divide by 8. And I get 1. Divide this by 8. And what do I get? It's actually pretty close to 11. Okay? Now, number 3 is this one right here, the third game. I need to know about 1 catch, get it down to 1 catch for how many yards. So we have 8 catches for 240. And actually right here I made a mistake. Sorry about that. This should be 7. Okay, so if you saw me that I made that mistake, I'm sorry. Go ahead and fix it. Okay, so this is still 1. What is this? It's going to be like 12 point something. Let me make sure I have the right yards. Yeah, 87. Okay, so he had 8 catches for 240 yards. Now this one I can tell you right now, if I divide by 8 here, it's going to be 1. And this will be 30 yards. Okay. Then we look finally one more, and 1 catch, how many yards? So while you're working on this, let's say it's 200 yards for 8. I need to know about 1 catch. What I'm doing for each one, while it looks like I'm rushing, is, and I want you to go ahead and do the work for these. Find the unit rate for this one. Find me the yards here. What I'm doing is, what I just said, I'm finding the unit rate. Once I know the unit rate about each one, I can answer the questions. Now, do they all have the same ratio? Does this one and this one and this one, and finally this one, do they all have the same unit rate? Meaning, do they all have the same value up here to 1? If these are not all exactly the same, then no, they are not proportional. The answer would be no. If they're all the same, then it would be yes. But you need to double check that right now. Then the next question is the second and third game proportional to each other? Again, are they the same? If they are, then the answer is yes. If they're not the same, the answer is no. And then it says, did Jerry Rice receive more than 30 yards per catch? Well, if you already have the unit rate for each game, you would just go and check, is this 30 yards to 1 catch? Is this 30 yards? This one is. How about this one? Whoops, it's a big old mess here. Well, I'll just leave it like that. I'll just use a different color. Is this 30 yards? If all those are 30 yards, then the answer would be yes, because look at the question. Did he receive more than 30 yards per catch? if one catch was not 30 yards, then it would show. And if you look at the second one right here, 7, and he only had 87, you might be already able to guess that maybe he did not have 30 yards per catch. Okay? So, a question like this, the first thing you have to do is say, okay, I have all this information right here. Whoa, there's a lot of information. Simplify it. Find the unit rate, because the questions all have to do with unit rate. Proportion. To find proportion, you need to simplify. Okay, are they the same? Do they share the same ratio? Once you break it down and simplify it, it should look the same. If not, then you don't have proportion.